Hey everybody, this is Alan from Woodcrest Bonsai. And today I'm going to work on these 3 Portulacaria afras. They're all quite old and they're overgrown, but they have nice bones. And I'm going to take and cut them all way back and root prune and repot them too, because they have not been repotted in a long time. And these are part of the group that are on the very old bench that needs to have the wood replaced. So these are going to go on the new bench, and they'll be jammed together for a while, and then I will replace the old wood on the bench that these are coming from, and then be able to space things out a whole lot better. So let's start with this guy here. Gonna make him a little bigger. There's my fingers. Whoop, 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 whoop. So this is a cool little tree. Maybe let's make him a little tiny bit smaller. There we go. I like the movement. I don't like this right here. It's a little bit too heavy for here, but I'm thinking of perhaps shortening the thing by kind of wiring everything like flat. But today I'm just going to take off virtually everything, all the growing tips. Give it a major haircut. And we are now 1/3 of the way through April. But things are warming up, so I only really do this with just about any tree when you know it's going to respond with a whole bunch of new growth. So there we go. That's pretty good. It's now bare, but that'll be okay. So what do we do? Do we repot it, or do we do the other 2? Let's do the other 2. So here's another one that's in virtually the same size pot as the first guy. A little bit different style, but otherwise basically the same pot. And it has a lot more leggy growth. And it has some issues. So these guys down here are bar branches. But first we're just going to take it way back. A little bit off the top. Let's see what we've got here. Where's the front of this guy? Is that the front? No, I think this is the front. And that's a little too heavy. And let me take this guy off too, like that. There we go. Back. To a form that once it grows out, it would be a nice little tree. And remember, root pruning and repotting actually rejuvenates trees. It's not how you dwarf trees. You dwarf trees by keeping them in small pots and constantly pinching the new growth. A root pruning and a repotting results in new growth that will, new root growth that will translate into new top growth. So here we've got a water chute that is completely unnecessary. So I'm going to take him off. And then this main branch that's swooping way down, I don't know. We'll keep it for now. It's pretty much a parallel branch with this guy. And then this is shooting way up. We don't want that. We want our apex up in here. This is really heavy up here, so we're going to take him back even more. There we go. That's a good start. And since I've got him here, let's repot in reverse order. So, get my cleaning device. You didn't know that was a cleaning device, right? Put the tray down. Brought some soil out, but I'm not quite sure there's enough here. But I can always get more. And see what the roots look like, and they're going to be quite root bound. Not too bad. There's the screen right there. So the roots have not really grown below the screen that much. So, and this guy is in rocky bonsai soil. There we go. Get the screen out of there. This screen is quite large. I basically cut it to follow the entire contour of the bottom of the pot. Oops, just ripped it in half. However, that's not that big of a deal because there's only one drain hole in the pot. So all we really need is a piece like that. Put it back down there. We still want to work on the roots of the tree. Try to take off some of the moss. These guys, they're all going back into the same pot that they were in. There's kind of a funky root right here. And is that even doing anything? I don't think it is. So I'm going to take that off. And there's another funky root right here. There's one thing I do differently with Portulacaria Jade. When I root prune, is I do not water for 24 hours. And that allows these cut ends to heal over. The dwarf jade is a very succulent plant that stores water in its tissues, and so too much water too soon after these roots have been exposed like this can create rot. So just all you have to do is wait for these guys to heal over, and it usually only takes about a day. At least for me. I know I've heard some people talk about don't water until you see new growth. I think that's insane. But I've heard people who follow that. You know, I'm going to zoom out a little more. Oops, out. Thank you. And I got my soil. I'm putting the guy pretty much right in the same place. I'm going to take him over to this side because this branch is much longer. So it will be much more balanced with the trunk on this side. And then it's just a matter of filling it back in with brand new soil. And it's been so long since I did this to any of these jades that I'm very confident that we're going to get really nice new growth. There we go. There's number one. Now, do not water for 24 hours. Well, maybe I'll stick some moss back on there. Lately I've been kind of in that mode. I don't normally do this because the moss will show up soon enough. If you're watering correctly and everything else is pretty much copacetic, moss just shows up. Now this is taking moss that was on this tree already and just putting it back on, but I have never actually taken moss and put it on a tree that did not have moss. It's just not necessary. Now I know that if you ever try to show a tree in a display, some places, like in Florida here, the tree must be mossed. Sometimes I don't understand that. I've seen displays like in Indonesia where the trees didn't have moss, but they had a very nice, fresh layer of nice soil, and they were just as nice as if they had moss. So there we go. Look, it doesn't even look like it even got root pruned. Amazing. Okay, so then who was second? I think this guy. But I do need to get more soil, so I'm going to go do that. Okay, I'm back with the soil, but the more I look at this tree, the more I don't like how heavy these guys are here. So I'm going to take them back even further. Other than that, that's about the same. So give him a little yank. Cut out the screen. As good as new. Back into the pot. Pull off some of the moss. These guys all have really nice little fat trunks. Mainly because they're quite old. If we go down a little, you see that the trunk is even fatter. Where's the front of this guy? Yeah, this was the front. Okay, there we go. Going to take this root that's circling around and just take it off. Portulacaria are such tough plants that you could literally leave this guy just sitting like that for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it would still be alive. So that's why I usually say that if you're a brand new beginner, Portulacaria are probably the best beginner material because they are so forgiving if you forget to water. Get that guy. Okay, let's hold him up. He wants to fall over. This is a very, very rocky mix that I use. Probably a little more well drained than some of the stuff that other people use. And that's because in the summer when we get the rainy season, it can literally rain every single day. Which means you don't have to water your trees because Mother Nature's doing it, but you can't keep them from getting that water unless you put stuff inside, which is insane. You know, I've never tried to hide a plant from the rain. So I use a really, really rocky mix so it drains really well. Another way you can add moss, so let me just grab some right here out in my hand. Okay, so you see it's kind of like there's a little bit of moss in there, but it's all kind of crusty too. Lay that out like on this tray in the sun, let it all completely dry, and then you can take it and just sprinkle the dust, and the moss spores will still be in there. And that's another way you can promote moss. I don't do that often. Like I said, I think I'm becoming a broken record. The moss just shows up for me. I don't really have to quote unquote do anything for it. It just comes. Okay, and last but not least, this guy here. The roots are very healthy, and the screen is a little bit higher on this one. Here's a really big root that needs to come off. There we go. That was easy enough. This looks like another one where the screen is the same dimensions as the bottom of the pot. This little pot here actually has 2 holes, which is interesting. Many times, and this is a mass-produced pot, and many times pots that size only have 1 drain hole. So that's why I use the screen. That covers the whole bottom of the pot. It's a lot more stable than 2 little tiny pieces to cover each hole. And I try to get all the dead roots, or not dead, the ones I just cut, but they will be dead. Get them out of there. It has a couple little holes in it, but since the drain holes are here and here, it'll still work just fine. a little bit of soil. That was too much. Got to leave some space for the tree to get in there. And then what do we got on the tree? I think that's probably pretty good. So, actually I need to take some off. Or conversely, put them in a bigger pot. But right now, since I'm running the video, I'm just going to take off a little bit more. And he is definitely too high, so we're going to start over. Just start over. Screen. For some reason the screen is not fitting. So maybe it's almost like it's too big. So let me just cut a little bit of this crustiness off of here. There we go. Now behave. And then much less soil on the bottom. And then we put the tree. You put the lime and the coconut. There we go. Much better. Now keep him in place. And I always like to have my soil, brand new soil, a little lower than the lip of the pot so that when you water it doesn't all just wash away. So there we go. All three of them, new lease on life. There's my head. Now let's do a rabbit. Is there a rabbit in there? That's so okay. It's a bonsai channel, not a animal shadow channel. Alright, there we go. So now let's get this out of the way and we'll bring them all back. What am I missing? There we go. So I would never do this in the fall or the winter, only spring. And now every single little tip is going to start to pop. And there may be, so I left a couple of little guys here. These guys are going to grow more aggressively than anything else. So as they begin to grow, maybe I'll just take them off. So now, you know, you may get to places that the tree is going to push new growth and other places where it isn't. So that new growth that comes out really strong, I will be pinching it back to make the tree, to attempt to get the tree to distribute the energy that it's pumping up to the new leaves more equally along the tree. So if you get one or two places that are going to start shooting really strong growth, pinch that stuff back to coax the tree into being more symmetrical with the new growth. So there you go, 3 jade off the old bench and onto the new, and they're all going to be jammed together until I can replace the wood on the old bench. But these guys, once again, no water for 24 hours. And then pretty much the same care they always get. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and you can watch these guys develop further. And in my next video, I will continue on. I did a video on my laurel pedalum, and it is now sprouting new growth, and I said that I was going to take cuttings as soon as I saw new growth, so I'm going to do a little bit of a hiccup from taking the old trees off the old bench and putting them on the new bench, because I want to take those cuttings from the lower pedalum, because the timing is everything. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.